Hi guys, this is Vishal here from DrapCode. So what exactly is DrapCode? So DrapCode is a platform to build and launch custom web applications faster. So let's say you want to build any web applications, what are the options out there? So either you hire programmers and get it built, right? Or you should know programming yourself, which is not many people know how to program, right? Because there's always a scarcity of developers. So we have built DrapCode just to make sure that anyone who has basic understanding of web applications, like what is a web application, some basic understanding of HTML, CSS, should be able to build and launch full-fledged web application without learning any new programming language, any framework, right? So let's say you have to build your web application, either you should know programming or you should hire developers. Even after that, you need a lot of effort in continuously maintaining the application, securing it, making sure that it's scalable and meet all those requirements. To overcome this challenge, we have built DrapCode, where anyone with basic understanding just use ready to use drag and drop UI components and just build a web application. You go configure things as you want it to be, build the layout, build the workflow, and launch a web application. The learning curve is like really low. We have very good tutorials for beginners where you can just watch, spend couple of hours, and you start building web applications for you. So what should be the feature of a typical no-code builder? Because there are a lot of no-code builders out there. So what should be an ideal no-code builder? So the very first, it should be easy to use. It should have a visual interface. It should have everything visually where you don't need to go into details. So there should be abstraction layer where you just see what things you want to build. You just drag and drop, configure it as you want, and it should be ready to use. Apart from that, it should also have a lot of integration with other system, because nowadays no application is good if it is standalone. You always need integration, whether you want to send email, you want to send SMSs, you want to authenticate, you want to bring some data from some third party services like Google Sheet, Airtable, and maybe some other data source. So it should have a very good integration with all these services. Apart from that, whatever the application which got built from the no-code builder should be secure and scalable, because that is the very first priority of any web application. Like it should build using a framework that it is secure, easy to use, and easy to scale. So tomorrow, if you want to scale the application to hundreds or thousands of users, there should not be any challenge. It should not be like this, that okay, now you have built an MVP and it is scaling, you need to go from that no code to code. So we need to remove that myth, right? And the last option is, whatever solution you are using, whatever platform you are building, it should be made for scale, right? Where you should be able to scale the application to hundreds of thousands of users or maybe billions of users without even thinking whether this can handle it or not. And DrapCode is exactly something which do all these things. So the core features which DrapCode has, when you are choosing DrapCode as a no-code builder, so you can have your own 100% custom UI, right? So there is no limitation that what type of web application you can design, as long as you have an HTML, CSS, or you know some basics of designing, you should be able to build any type of UI. The good thing with DrapCode is that there are a lot of ready-made themes available out there in the market. You can just purchase those theme or download the theme and import it in DrapCode, and DrapCode build your web application with 100% UI of that particular HTML theme or template. There are a lot of themes available on marketplaces like Theme Forest, Rep Bootstrap, and all those things. You can just purchase those themes, whether it's an admin dashboard, whether it's an internal application, whether it's a public facing web application. You can just use those ready-made designs, so you cut the time of designing, right? Or if you, let's say you want to have your own custom design, you can have your designers and developers working on DrapCode at the same time. One team focuses on designing, making it pixel perfect, and other team focus on the integration, right? And you don't need experts or design experts or back-end experts to build these applications. Anyone with some basic understanding of web technology should be able to do this. Apart from this, we have a lot of ready-made integration with several third-party ways, like I mentioned, email, SMSs, any third-party integration, authentication, fetching of data, pushing of data, Zapier, Integromat, Make, and all those things, right? So you can integrate with any system in the world as long as it has an REST API. Right. The other feature of DrapCode is that you can either build your application on top of the database which we provide, which is MongoDB behind the scene, but you don't have to worry about what is MongoDB, how to use it. We have already built abstract layer. So it's as simple as using an Excel sheet. Or let's say you already have a data somewhere, right? You may already have your data in Excel sheet, or you have your data in Airtable or Firebase, Firestore, Supabase, any database. So you can build your application on top of that data. You don't have to start from scratch. So designing is sorted. You don't have to design anything from scratch. Data is sorted. You don't have to worry about that, okay, how I will migrate my data. You don't have to migrate anything. You can build on top of it. Or if you're starting from scratch, you can just start from scratch on your own database, right? And the other advantage is that, let's say if you need APIs, if you need your application to push data to some other application, or some other application want to read data from DrapCode, so we have a full-fledged support of developer APIs where anyone can interact with DrapCode database using those developer APIs. Apart from that, now let's say you have built your application, you designed it, and it's ready to use. So there's a one-click deployment, right? So you just do a click, and then the application is live for your end user. You can map it to your own custom domain, and then you can just keep building, adding new and new features. You get access to staging environment, sandbox environment, and then production environment. So you can always build your features, test it with your internal team, with your project managers, and then push those features for the end users. And let's say even after that you need more control. So what exactly you get? You can actually export the source code of your web application. It's 100% human readable, easily manageable, scalable source code, which comes in Node.js framework as a backend. Front end is JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and database is MongoDB. At any point of time, you can export your source code and continue your journey from there. You can do changes to your source code and then deploy to your own servers. You have complete access to your database, and you don't have to continue subscription on DrapCode if you're not using the platform after that. Let's say you build an application and then you export the source code and you continue your journey from there. So DrapCode is not just to build MVPs. It's part of your building the application, launching it, and making sure that you grow as your business grows, right? The platform is capable enough to handle hundreds of thousands of millions of users. But even after that, if you want better control, you can just export the code and continue your journey from there. You will not have to rebuild your application using code from scratch. As a lot of people say that, oh, no code platforms are just to build MVPs, and once your idea is successful, you need to build everything from scratch. No, this is not the case with DrapCode. Whatever is amount of effort, of energy you spend in building your web application, it is there. You can export the code and then continue your journey from there. There are hundreds of thousands of users who have built their web application on DrapCode. So you can actually build your web application on DrapCode, launch it to hundreds of users, and build a successful business. Thank you. Bye-bye.